Let's talk about one of the most underrated books that I've read this year. Hello everyone, welcome and welcome back to A Fictional Escapist. My name is Kris, and today's video is the Dreams of Dust book review. This is the Will of the Wayfinder Book 1 by Lily Ann Crow. And can I just say, this book is super underrated, as is this author. Before we jump into the review today, make sure you're checking the description box down below for links to my social media and Discord, should you want to come along for the ride. The first thing that I want to say about Dreams of Dust is this is a really good example of a simple premise that continually builds throughout the story, and by doing so creates this full world, great character dynamics, and an unfolding plot that keeps the reader guessing. We start off with 17-year-old Thaniel. He is a cartographer and has lived a life of privilege up until this point. He is sent out into the world to gain some experience, and he lands in with a motley crew tasked with uncovering the mystery of missing people all throughout the land. Unsure of his new friends but determined to make it work, he tries his best to prove himself amongst magic users and warriors in their search. Strange dreams start to haunt the group's sleeping hours, with the Queen of Dust at the helm. Dreams of powerful undead soldiers, old gods being harnessed for sinister use, disease and famine coursing through the lands, and the Queen herself, who is shrouded in mystery. Determined to get to the bottom of their task, Thaniel will need more than his cartographer's abilities to get him through. With his own magic budding under the surface, Thaniel and crew will seek the help of unlikely friendships, suffer heartbreak and betrayal, and learn to fight together or die trying. The Queen of Dust takes only prisoners and leaves only husks in her quest, but going into that would be spoiler territory, and you'll just have to read this book to find out more. I mentioned it before and I'm going to mention it again. Dreams of Dust is so underrated. I haven't checked how many Goodreads ratings there are for this, but at the time I put mine up, there were only 14, and that might have been just star reviews and 7 ratings, or reviews, sorry. It needs way more than that, because this book is so good for the amount of ratings that it currently has. Lily Ann Crow has given us such a rich world brimming with different species, different sort of beasts or fiends, and personalities. It is a complex and interesting magic system. It has an intriguing antagonist, which, although never fully explored within this book, which is another one of the points I'll make later, kept me wanting to know more throughout the entire book. Very early on, the reader is gifted with a multiple species crew that come together in one place, and they have to learn to work together as a group. From the owl-like Dulruk, whose people caused the plague many moons before, to an elk-headed Huranan, hopefully I'm pronouncing these things right, full of wisdom and quiet power that travel with the group. Outside of this, we also have more domesticated animals that set the imagination alight. The 6-legged Picalia was my personal favorite, and again, I've got no idea if I'm pronouncing that right. But these beasts were good for carrying around any number of travel sachets, but not really great at responding to their name. From there, we branch out to godlike spirits of the Lilka, the original inhabitants of the world here, who cared for the lands before any other creature did. And although they are rare now, we did get to witness some of these magnificent beasts throughout the story, as Thaniel learns about his affiliation with them. Learning about all the aspects of the world was delightful, but the amount of care put into the creatures, big or small, really took the cake for me personally. Outside of the animals, we do explore various terrains. We discover old ancient cities still sort of dripping with magic crystals, which was very cool to go through. We trespass through disease-ridden villages while making our way through to a dangerous desert to find the missing people. So if you are someone who likes a quest, if you are someone who likes a bit of travel, going through different types of terrain and really feeling that world around you, this is absolutely going to be a book that you're going to enjoy. The next thing I want to mention here is the magic system. This was so vast and interesting to watch unfold. Harnessed using crystals in some form or another, different people had different affiliations and abilities using the same source. This was explored in some really fun and beautiful ways in this book. We have like a classic magic user who is almost mage-like in execution, who physically uses the crystals to cast spells. We get to see a battle between two of these users, and that was really cool to watch. There were also more subtle ways in which this magic could be harnessed. One of my favorites was there was a flute which had crystals put into the flute, and the user had to play music to create some sort of spell to be able to harness that magic, which I thought was really cool, just having those crystals in the embodiment of the instrument. The songs that came from the flute would have different effects, and it was obviously really melodic to read those scenes and hear that flow, and it almost felt like music as you was reading it, even if like the effects were slightly horrific for what came from that. The last thing I'll mention in terms of the story itself, just to keep this review fairly short, is the way the author has shrouded the antagonist in mystery, but also uses her as a way to push the plot forward. The Queen of Dust as the antagonist is never fully explored, but she does plague our crew through the duration of their travels. Her character continues to put pieces of the puzzle together for the group, and they're marching ever onwards towards the danger that she promises. Towards the very end of the book, you will start to see a glimpse of the Queen's motivations behind what she is doing, but at no point do we have some epic showdown between the two groups, and I thought that was fascinating because this Queen of Dust is so prevalent in the story but never fully explored, and I just thought that was just a great tie-in to make me want to read the rest of the series. I hit reserve on Kindle Unlimited on book 2 as soon as I finished the end of this book, so I can't wait to go and read it. Don't get me wrong, we do get to see some very cool and horrific magic consequences during the encounters that they do have, but as a reader, I now want to know what is going to happen next and what part this queen is going to play in future installments. This element certainly had me wanting more and to go back as a reader. I thought this book was excellent. I thought it deserves a lot more praise than it is currently getting. So if you want to go ahead and check this one out, please do. I'll always have the author and the books linked in the description box down below if you want to go ahead. It is on Kindle Unlimited, so you can go and grab it there if you have a membership. This is for fans of found family, old gods, coming of age stories, and lands with rich histories. So you're going to enjoy this book if you like any of those things. What do you think of this one? Are you going to pick it up? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like the content, give it one of those. If you want to see more of it, click subscribe at your will. I'll catch you in the next video. Ciao.